Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Welcome to the Southern California Prep Insider Baseball Podcast. Tommy and Les here as always. Les, how are we feeling today?
Dude, doing great, man. Just getting ready for another big week of baseball here in SoCal.
Yep, league play is cranked up. You know, a lot of teams playing familiar foes, so it's always good to see the rivalries, that kind of stuff. So we'll start right away with our top 10. Les, who's on it?
Number one, Huntington Beach stays at the top. The Oilers, they've lost one game since opening weekend. That's a remarkable 19-1 run. Coach Madur's got that thing rolling pretty good over there. Miracosta, these guys got to be one of the most underrated teams out there. You know, they're pounding people, and nobody outside of us is really talking about them. So the Mustangs check in at number two. Number three is Harvard Westlake. Big three-game sweep over Chaminade last week. Got a massive test this week against Sherman Oaks Notre Dame in a three-game series. Pretty stoked I get to be out there tomorrow to check that out. Number four is Notre Dame. They won 2 games against Capital Valley Christian last week. Again, that major test will come this week against Harvard Westlake. We'll talk about that game here in a little bit. La Mirada checks in at number 5. They dropped a game last week to a really improved Esperanza team, but still a legit title contender in Division I, in my opinion. Number 6, Arcadia. They're 19-0, and they just keep winning in impressive fashion, man. So you keep winning, and you're undefeated, you're going to stay at the top. Right? No-brainer. Next is Olu. Won a series against St. John Bosco, a really good Braves team. The reward is a 3-game series against Jay Serra, who checks in this week at number 8, who, after winning a series against a good Servite team last week. They face Olu. This series is always really fun. These coaches really understand, you know, the game of baseball. Not that the other coaches don't, but these guys really get after it. And, you know, it gets a little chippy at times, so it's really a fun series. Number 9 is Etiwanda. They went 3-0 last week. These next 2 weeks are really going to tell us just how good the Eagles are. You know, they face some good teams here in league the next couple of weeks with Glendora and Rancho Cucamonga coming up. El Toro checks in at number 10. They got a big sweep of Mission Viejo last week. They, you know, the Chargers are looking like what we thought they were the preseason. And that's a top team in Division I after being a little inconsistent ball there, and obviously the Boris Classic losing 2 there. But they appear to be back on track.
All right, so there's the top 10. Now we're going to go on to good players from last week, guys who had some standout games, some standout weeks. I'm going to start it off with Fullerton's Christian Lonzano. He was 5 for 6 last week, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs in their 2 games against Sonora. Valley Christian Brett Garcia, 5 for 9, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs in 3 games. Last week, he will be going to Irvine next year. Next, I got Woodcrest Christians Jordan Keller, 4 for 4, a home run and 7 RBIs in their win over Notre Dame Riverside, not Sherman Oaks. Next, I've got from Rancho Alamitos, it's Nathan Alarcon. He threw a complete game shutout, 9 strikeouts, no walks in their win over Los Amigos. He has a .29 ERA so far this season. And finally, from Norte Vista, it's Adrian Cerna with a complete game win as well. He has done that in each of his last 2 starts. He has combined 18 strikeouts in those 2 games.
And some of those numbers you're talking about are just crazy, right? Like a .29 ERA. I don't care what level you're pitching at. You have a .29 ERA. That's pretty crazy.
I don't think you're gonna have a .29 ERA if there was no batter. I think I would walk enough people to where the ERA would be a little too high.
Right. So I'm going to start off with Dawson Damone out of Quartz Hill High School. Last week was 8 for 9, 10 RBIs, scored 7 runs, 5 singles, a double, a pair of home runs. Also got hit by a pitch twice. But, you know, just for good measure, he threw out 3 or 4 would-be base stealers. Moving south, Chandler Champlain out of Santa Margarita. The senior USC commit was 7 for 11 with 4 RBI and 2 doubles. He also threw 5 innings, striking out 8 in Santa Margarita's sweep over Mater Dei. Keep in mind that Champlain's also a draft potential pick here coming up in June. Noah Reinhardt out of Rancho Cucamonga High School. Junior threw a complete game shutout, walked none, struck out 7, used only 68 pitches, 68 pitches in a complete game shutout. And finally, Brett Bailey out of Villa Park. Senior was 4 for 8. He had a triple, a homer, 4 RBIs, 4 runs, 2 walks, and a stolen base. He did have the one home run I talked about was the game winner against Esperanza in the top of the seventh, 0-2 count, 2 outs, gave Villa Park a 13-10 lead in a game they would win 13-12. Kind of the stuff you dream about as a kid, right? 2 outs, the seventh inning. Just this one happened to be in the top of the seventh instead of the bottom.
Yeah, and those 13-12 games become exhausting after a while. I mean, to keep hitting and keep hitting and keep hitting. But good for them for pulling that one off. All right, on to the game picks. First one, we're going to talk about Esperanza right away. It's Foothills at Esperanza.
All right, just before we get into this, Tommy, I got to tell you, people on Twitter getting a little carried away. They're coming after us because they're saying, hey, we don't know how to pick games, this, that, and the other.
We put up the scoreboard.
Well, we did put up the scoreboard, so that's we're going in the right direction. The other piece is, hey, if we're in the prediction business, you and I would be sitting on our own private island, sipping a drink with a little umbrella right now because we would have won the Powerball several times, right?
Exactly.
This is just for fun, so I just wanted to get that out there. But, let's go into Foothill and Esperanza. Foothill, they're limping into this series a little bit, losers 3 of the last 4. The Knights are led offensively by senior Chad Castillo, who's hitting .412. The interesting piece for the Knights is that they have a 1.6 team ERA, which makes a couple of those blowouts a little difficult to understand. The flip side is Esperanza is playing really well. They had an undefeated week last week. Would have had an undefeated week last week, were it not for the 13-12 loss to Villa Park that we talked about. They did beat La Mirada 8-12 on Saturday. Uncommitted senior Hayden Winters, he's hitting .500 on the season, was 8 for 12 last week. The Aztecs have what I think is going to be a stud on the mound. I saw them on Friday, and junior Gavin Lizick, he held a pretty potent El Medina lineup in check. They're just playing with a lot of momentum. The Knights are looking to rebound, so I'm going to go with Esperanza.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Esperanza as well. They're off to a hot start. Tony Acordino is hitting .464 with 4 home runs in 24 RBIs. That's a lot. I think they played about 20 games. So he's got more RBIs in games, so that's always good to see at this point of the season. Next, we've got Rancho, Cucamonga, and Los Osos. They have 2 games left in their series.
Yeah, Rancho comes in. They've won 4 straight, including a 3-game sweep of Upland last week. They're hitting an impressive .325 as a team, and they have a bona fide ace, junior righty Noah Reinhardt, who we talked about. He's 5-0 with a .69 ERA on the season. Senior Jonathan Robinson is smashing the season, hitting .471. Cougars have 5 regulars hitting over .342 on the season, which in and of itself is impressive. Los Osos is on a current 4-game losing streak. They were swept last week by Etowanda. Senior Bailey Bordas is pacing the offense, hitting .372. Junior Stanford commit Brett Barrera is hitting .318. Pitching's been an issue for them. They got a .424 team ERA, and against a good team, a hitting team like Rancho, that doesn't bode well. So I'm going to go with the Cougars.
Yeah, I'm going to go with them as well. They also have 5 regulars that have more than 10 RBIs apiece, which is pretty impressive at this point of the year as well. And a kid I want to shout out, the Joey Gallo of high school baseball, Kobe Martin, with 7 hits, 4 of them home runs. So if he hits the ball, it's probably going to go over the fence.
I like that.
Next, we've got a 3-game series here. It's Harvard Westlake and Notre Dame.
Yeah, arguably the biggest matchup in the state. Prep Baseball Report, we have Harvard Westlake number 4 in the state and Notre Dame 5 in the state. And this 3-game series could eventually decide the Mission League Championship. I'm going to head up there tomorrow and check this game out. Losing Lucas Gordon for what appears to be the season will challenge the Knights' depth on the mound. However, they get a huge break in sophomore Chris Aldrich being eligible after his 30-day sit-out. And he's pretty good. We talked about him a little bit last week. And they're going to need all the pitching they can get, as Harvard Westlake's offense is about as good as it gets here in SoCal. These games usually come down to 1 or 2 key plays. With 2 games being at Harvard Westlake, it might be too much overcome for Notre Dame. In a series that's way too close to call, and only because I have to, I will go with Harvard Westlake.
I'm going to go Notre Dame. I'm going to go the other way. Noah Taylor, 4 home runs, 20 RBIs already. Carter Kessinger on the mound. He's a first-team All-Mission League pitcher last year. Also, always got to mention this whenever I see it, a 4.6 GPA.
Yep.
Good for you. I don't even know what that looks like on a report card.
Just to be fair, Harvard Westlake's got a guy like that too, a 4.6 GPA and a perfect 36 on the ACT in RJ Schreck.
We need to get him. We need to make sure that RJ gets off the baseball field into like a doctor's lab or something and just cures any sort of ailments that exist in the human.
Yeah,
RJ, don't be selfish, man. I know baseball's fun, but go save some lives.
The world, right?
Yeah, exactly. Not all the 36s walking around. Next, we've got Calabasas, Newbury Park, 2 games.
Yeah, after a rough showing at the Boris Classic, Newbury Park has bounced back nicely, winning 3 of their last 4. Panthers have some serious talent on the mound, led by USC commit Carson Lambert, who's 4-1 with a 1.05 ERA. The at-bats have been a little inconsistent for the Panthers, with the exception of senior Cal State San Bernardino commit Trent Packard, who's hitting .415 on the season. Calabasas comes in, having won 6 straight, and they do own a win over Harvard Westlake on their resume. But based on the competition they faced recently, this would be a big step up for the Coyotes. I just like what Newbury Park's doing on the mound, so I'm going to go with the Panthers.
I'm going to go with Newbury Park as well. They won the first matchup between the 2 teams. Jake Miller headed to University of San Diego, hitting .346 with 15 RBIs for them, and then on the mound, a 1.58 ERA. So he's having a pretty good year there for Newbury Park. Finally, San Dimas, Rowland.
Yeah, San Dimas is on some sort of roll right now. They've won 15 straight after with their last loss coming 7 weeks ago against number 6 Arcadia. The Saints are just pounding opponents, having won their last 5 by an average margin of victory of over 7 runs. Sophomores Liam Rocha and DeAndre Smith, the UC Riverside commit, are each hitting over .417 on the season as sophomores. Junior Zach Jacobs, one of our players of the week last week, is 8-1 with a .888 ERA. And for Rowland, they've lost 3 straight after having their own 5-game win streak snapped. Hits have been hard to come by for the Raiders, who feature 4 sophomores in their regular starting lineup. Rowland likes to be very active on the base paths, which can at times create confusion for their opponents. But I just think San Dimas is rolling too good right now, and I like what they're doing. And there might be too much for the Raiders, so I'm going to go with the Saints here.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. I'm also going to go with the Saints. Just a little bit more on DeAndre Smith, since I did mention him last week. 16 RBIs, 2 doubles, a home run, and a triple. So he's not bad for a kid. He's still got a couple years left in high school ball. So he'll be someone to watch out for San Dimas for the next couple of seasons. Les, anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, we've got our class of 2020 top 100 rankings coming out here in the next few days. So be sure to check out prepbaseballreport.com/California. You can hit us on Twitter at PBR_California and on Instagram at PBR California. Check us out.
Wait, can I ask for a quick little, maybe a sneak peek, since we just mentioned DeAndre? Did he make it on there?
You're going to have to check out the website.
Okay, that's called a teaser in the business. So
I'll tell you this. I will tell you this. There are 100 kids on our top 100 list. How's that?
Okay, that's perfect. So guaranteed by you, Les, there will be 100 kids on your top 100 list.
Yeah, and our number 1 guy we've talked about quite a bit here on this podcast. So, and we've talked about him and his team. So there's a little, I guess, I don't know.
There's the nugget right there. There's a little. All right, we'll be back next week with more of the same. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you then.